At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
As a nurse, I've seen a lot of people with sleep deprivation. It affects their job, their home life. At Room to Room, we want to take the guesswork out of buying a mattress, and that's why we brought in this technology. It shows you what you need. We want to do the assessment and find exactly what's perfect for you.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, sunshine fading into a clear night, but nonetheless, mild temperatures still reign supreme. I'm meteorologist Gabe live here for Mississippi Live Weather at 6, joined alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon. We'll join him here in just a moment on what he has in Ripley. But first, let's go ahead and look around the region at what our headlines are here for North Mississippi getting into our Monday night. Of course, rain chances climbing on Tuesday. That's the big headline heading into that extended forecast, tracking that out in just a moment, along with some of those rainfall totals. But a more seasonable weekend ahead. Not only is it more seasonable, it's also going to be dry. So finally, some light that we get to enjoy this week after what was a very dark time last week. But recovery efforts do continue, and this is as good of a forecast as you can get for those efforts that, of course, continue throughout this week. Matt joining us live from Ripley. He has the latest on what's happening up there with recovery efforts. You know, Matt, I can see that clear night, but it was a clear sky earlier when that sun was shining. That's helping, of course, take out some of this ice that has made a long-term impact on folks in Tippah County. What's the latest you can tell us from Ripley?
Well, I mean, of course, the big melt continues. You know, town roads here are in pretty good shape in Ripley. And you can see across the street here as we look back toward the First Baptist Church here in town. Still, obviously, what looks like snow on the ground a week later. I'm at the Family Life Center across the street from the main sanctuary there at the First Baptist Church. And that's where the American Red Cross has had their shelter set up over the course of the last, few days here, continuing to take care of folks here in Tippah County and the region. They continue to, again, have the things necessary for folks to be in good shape. So, of course, that does mean ready-to-eat meals. That also means water and the potential for shelter as well. So we're going to talk to folks here at the Red Cross about what they have been doing coming up here in a couple of minutes. But I would say, Gabe, the big headline here in Tippah County is it's a slow recovery. The recovery is still happening, but even talking to some of the folks, it's still a lot of folks still waiting to get that power back. That's kind of that necessary next step so folks can get back to somewhat that resembles a little more normalcy. Of course, we'll talk to the folks here at the Red Cross about what they have going on and their shelter here in just a couple minutes. But from Tippah County, from the Family Life Center at the First Baptist Church, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon, Mississippi Live Weather.
Well, Matt, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to what you have to say and what the folks up there at the Red Cross have to say here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and bring it back in here to the Room to Room Weather Center, where we are tracking milder conditions, even heading into these late night hours. We're 41 around 7, 35 closer to 10, and you see temperatures, some of us, not even going below that freezing mark again. How long has it been since we've been able to say that? Well, either way, we get to say it tonight for a large part of North Mississippi. Big reason why, moisture's in the forecast, and that's going to be tied along to some rain chances as early as 7 a.m. for some of us out west. Of course, we'll track that here in just a moment. Let's get a good look outside at what is a beautiful sunset. My word, those skies are painted beautifully by God. 46 degrees in Greenville. Feels like 42. Again, that southerly wind about 9 miles an hour. That's helping replenish that moisture over the top of North Mississippi. And here's a welcome sight for us. Alcorn County, camera with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers back in action. They're close to Rienzi, 43 degrees, and even up there, hey, perfect timing to get it back in action, getting a view off there in the horizon. Either way, no matter where you're at, looking like a great sunset. On the ground there in West Point, night has set in, 46 degrees, dew point still at 29 degrees, so we're waiting on that to kind of build into those overnight hours and make for a more fitted forecast for some of these chances. As we take a look at our Mama Justice Doppler radar, again, dry across North Mississippi, but that system all the way out there towards Oklahoma and Texas, that's going to be driving our forecast in the coming 24 hours. We're still about 500 miles away from that system, but we'll start to get those effects early hours of our Tuesday as that system approaches. So let's go ahead and track that out. Futurecast highlighting the movement of that system going from west to east and giving us those increased chances of a few showers and, of course, increased cloud cover by 10 p.m. So this beautiful night we have overhead right now will make way to some cloudier skies. So those that have enjoyed the full moon that's taking place in those overnight hours, Unfortunately, not going to get a great visual on that tonight, or at least not into those late evening hours. As we take a look Tuesday morning, you're getting a look at that frontal system that's continuing to develop out there towards Texas and Oklahoma. That begins to drive this batch of moisture through southern Arkansas and building into North Mississippi by the time we get towards 6 a.m. I mean, if we bring it in a little bit closer, you can see some of those light showers crossing the river by 6 a.m. And for folks out there towards Cleveland or Clarksdale, unfortunately, might pair that morning commute with a few showers in the forecast. Luckily, though, this is all rain. So anyone that's telling you anything different, that is a lie. And speaking of liars, Phil, we'll talk about him coming up in the 6 o'clock show as well. Either way, rain chances, that's going to highlight our Tuesday, and those really start to pick up by late morning, early afternoon, as that coverage area goes to about 60% post-noon time. Now, as we take a look at that forecast, we're going to be climbing to 53 degrees by 3 p.m. Those mild conditions continue to linger in our forecast. But once we get into Wednesday, into Thursday, we do see those temperatures take a bit of a step back once that cold front fully clears. We'll track those temperatures coming up in just a moment. But again, rain chances top our 6 o'clock broadcast. We're going to be discussing the latest details on timing, impacts, and just how much we could see. That all coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We're also going to be discussing more on the recovery efforts in Ripley with our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lopon. He joins us right here in the next 60 seconds.
Frozen pipes can cause serious damage. That's why Absolute Restoration is giving away free faucet covers to our community while supplies last. Installing them is easy. Just slide the foam sleeve over your outdoor faucet and secure it snugly. Also remember to disconnect hoses, open cabinet doors under sinks, and let faucets drip during extreme cold. Call or text to check availability, and from our family to yours, please stay warm and protected.
Can I ask a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog, but she's little.
Do you have any unlocked guns around the house?
We do have a gun, but it's stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access. Appreciate you asking.
Yeah, of course.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Live look out there in Clarksdale after what has been a beautiful Monday, all things considered, and that sunshine unfortunately fading away, but recovery efforts still in full swing getting into those overnight hours. Our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lopon, joining us live in Ripley on some of those recovery efforts. He joins us now with the very latest.
Hey there, Gabe. We are coming from the Family Life Center of the First Baptist Church here in the Ripley area, which has been operating as a Red Cross shelter for the last few days. And again, for folks that have been without power, this has been a place where they have been able to stay warm in what have been, unfortunately, some extremely cold conditions. They still have a number of cots here available for folks and families that need it. Just a moment ago, I watched a family that had been here for a few days walk out. They were so thankful their power was coming back on. They mentioned that they didn't remember 94 being this bad, but they were young at that point in time. And I think the hope for their kids and many of our kids is that they won't remember this the way it has been. It's been a process here. Again, they do have food available, water available as well, ready-to-eat meals. So for folks that, again, do need that, we do think that that need, unfortunately, is going to probably continue for a while, not just because power outages are down, because this also stresses so many people's pocketbooks, considering the fact that many folks weren't able to eat, and we just have so many people that are paycheck to paycheck as far as that is concerned. So, again, a lot of needs, and the Red Cross hoping to fill some of those needs as well. I do want to bring in Lucy with the Red Cross here. She's kind of a dual member here, of course, part of the Red Cross, also a member of the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, so it kind of works out. It's part of the way we knew you were here. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Matt.
Well, again, thank you for what you guys have been doing, out here from the very beginning, trying to make sure that people are safe in what's been really dangerous conditions. What's the mood over the last few days from folks?
I think a lot of people are feeling some frustration with the delay of the recovery process. But of course, it is a process. So we are just doing our best to stay together and get everybody through it.
And you really have. I mean, this is a very comfortable location. It's warm, and there's food, and you guys are really serving the public.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's our pleasure. Part of the American Red Cross motto is to serve. So we're just taking care of the people that need it most in our community.
Okay, so what can people expect if they come here?
Well, the American Red Cross is assisting with sheltering and supplies. So we are able to register clients for sheltering and lodging. We also have food and water available as well. So come down while supplies last, because we're giving it out as it goes, and to those that need it most.
Absolutely, and that's, I think, where the Red Cross has always shown up, is where people need it most here. How many, I don't know if you know the numbers, but how many people have kind of been staying here the last few nights?
I want to say on range between 15 to 20. Now that has increased and decreased over the days, varying with the temperature changes. Of course, we saw our greatest influx of the shelter capacity on Saturday when we had the lowest temperatures. With the temperatures increasing throughout the weeks, I think we're on the road to recovery. Hopefully the shelter will start to thin out really soon, but we are still available to those that need it for as long as the shelter is available. So
okay, well, so glad that you are able to help out folks here in the Tippah County area and all across the region. Again, the American Red Cross is always there. So thank you so much for the hard work you put in.
My pleasure. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, so again, here at the Family Life Center, across the street from the First Baptist Church in Ripley, where that Red Cross shelter is, they have ready-to-eat meals. They have water, and they have cots for folks that do need that, and continue to obviously not have power. So Gabe, again, community here coming together up in Tippah County to try to help one another out as we await the return of some electricity. Again, we do know that those electric crews, linemen, have been working overtime and beyond to try to get the power back on. It's just such a slow process here. So glad to see so many people in the community coming together in this time. But from Tippah County, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon, Mississippi Live Weather. We'll send it back to you in the studio, Gabe.
Thank you so much, Matt, and thank you, Lucy, for the interview, just letting us know where things stand. And we do encourage folks in Tippah County that if you need a warm place to go, or are in need of food or water or anything of that matter, go ahead and head over there. There are those warming centers available, not just in Tippah County, but all the way across North Mississippi. And you can, again, find those on the North Mississippi Storm Chasers page. And if any of them are watching and want to put it in the chat, feel more than free. But we'll work on sharing that a little bit more later on. But nonetheless, there are resources available, and we want everyone to stay safe as we head into the recovery efforts on week 2. As we look at power outages across North Mississippi, the good thing with this report is the fact that it has gone down every single day. Crews are out working hard to try and restore things, and glad to see some things getting back to normal. So we look over there towards Tippah County and Prentiss County. Of course, Tippah is still at 40.5%. Prentiss County now at 4%. We do see Tishomingo County at 16.5%. Benton County still reporting a good bit, but even that number, I think 4 or 5 days ago, was at 90+%. Now at 57.5. Lafayette County and Panola County still reporting a large number of outages, but as you may have seen, folks out there are dealing with some dire circumstances, as there are several trees down that they got to restore, or not restore, but clean up, and then power outages they have to restore as a result. So it's an extensive process, but one that everyone is working hard to get back to normal. But nonetheless, this week has been doing an abundant amount of favors for folks that are trying to get this back to normal. As we look at rainfall totals heading into that extended forecast, one of the big notes is that we are going to get a large magnitude of rainfall. Some heavier downpours down and south of Highway 82, but nonetheless, the entirety of North Mississippi will be getting some rain tomorrow. And that rain going to work to melt some of that snow and ice on the ground. So we are excited to get things back to normal, like we just mentioned a moment ago, and the forecast is helping do that. And speaking of getting back to normal, Matt has some more details coming from Ripley as they are trying to help out some folks in Tippah County. Matt, what do you have for us?
Well, again, I'll keep it real short here, but one of the things, talking to the ladies with the Red Cross here a moment ago, they were talking about is that the women here from the First Baptist Church here in Ripley have been feeding around 600 people a day at lunchtime. And so if that is a need for some folks here in the community, that is an option, at least through Wednesday this week. That's what the plans are. So you can come down here again to the First Baptist Church in Ripley if you are in need of those food. I mean, and as I mentioned, the lines are fairly long. It's amazing food. And so another option there. So I did want to just hop on and say that real quick to let you know. So I'll let you go back with the rest of the forecast there. But again, that's going to be at least through Wednesday. And, you know, all these plans tend to be tentative just based upon need. And as need, you know, continues to swell, that opportunity might continue beyond that. But just be checking out on Facebook and all those sorts of places to stay up to date.
Well, that's great news to hear. And again, those resources available. So go check them out if you need it at any point, at any capacity. Just go ahead and play it on the safe side and get over there. And again, Tippah County, one of the hardest hit locations, as well as Benton County, all the way across Highway 72, all the way down I-55 and west. So folks are continuing to recover. And that number, Andy was letting me know in the chat that it has gone down from 50,000 outages to 44,000 without power today. And while that is still a large number of people, seeing that number come down is just a great thing to hear and means that we are on that road to recovery. Day planner this evening continues to be an assistance to those conditions getting better. 39 degrees around 8, 34 by midnight. So guys, we're not going below that freezing mark for a large portion of North Mississippi throughout those overnight hours. And that is a big positive for our forecast. And that rain tomorrow that we just talked about a moment ago, that's going to help clear out some of that snow and ice as well. As we look at our Monday evening forecast, these southerly winds that are building in from the Gulf, that's allowing for that moisture to return, gives us some cloud cover there by 10. But as we get towards those early morning hours of our Tuesday, you can see some of those showers do start to trickle in right along the Mississippi River as that frontal system moves closer and closer. A large batch of these showers that develop right along Cleveland and Clarksdale, that's going to be very light in nature. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised at all if any of that's not reaching the surface. But as we get through the rest of the day, that's where those rain showers become a little bit more widespread and, of course, more impactful. Low temperatures, 40 degrees Greenwood, 42 Belzona, and 37 Clarksdale. That's because they're getting the moisture first. They're getting those rain chances first. The further east we go, it's going to be a little bit drier at first, and that's what's allowing these temperatures to cool off a little bit more. So we're around freezing Tupelo and Hamilton, Alabama, 33 Amory and Columbus, as well as up there towards Boonville and Prentice County. As we keep that wind chill moving, of course, wind chill going to be more of a factor out east because it's again a drier forecast, but where those that moisture is moving in, that's where we'll get less impact from those wind chills. But guys, we're looking at a much better picture than what I was talking to you guys about on Friday evening. So continues to trend the right way, and we're grateful for that here in North Mississippi. As we take a look at that school day forecast, going to be more mild to start, but nonetheless, still need a couple layers for a drop off by lunchtime though. 50 degrees back in the forecast, mid-50s possible by that final bell. Rain chances are picking up as the day goes on, so that'll limit how much we warm up, but 50 degrees, nothing to shrug at, especially whenever we consider where we were at last week. So continue to trend in the right direction. I just don't want to overstate that enough because it is such a good news type forecast for what we're seeing this week. As we take a look at our Tuesday morning, those showers becoming a bit more widespread, building up there towards I-55 by 9 and 10 o'clock. And as we move there closer to the lunchtime hours, you can see as those showers move closer to 45. So that's what I'm talking about. Everyone in North Mississippi at least getting a drop of rainfall, but the more impactful rainfall. I mean, you can see that batch down there, Greenwood, Greenville, Hollandale, and Chula. That basically progresses right along Highway 82 and gives the heaviest sections for folks down there in Winston, Noxubee, Holmes, Atala, even around Oktibbeha and Lowndes County. We're, of course, seeing the highest outputs of rainfall. That continues in the forecast by mid-afternoon. And as we get into those late afternoon plans, that's where we're still going to see those rain chances linger. On the back side of this, some lighter showers on the back end of this frontal system. Those will try to linger in the forecast, but not going to be nearly as impactful as that leading edge. High temperatures on your Tuesday, 49 degrees Holly Springs and Senatobia. That's a great looking forecast. 55 closer to Eupora, 58 Columbus. And you are seeing that correctly. The 60s do still exist, and they are back and better than ever on your Tuesday, allowing for those warmer temperatures to be down there towards Macon and Noxubee County. Even as we wrap up our Tuesday, you can see how these chances do try to linger in the forecast, but even those start to move right on out by 10, 11 o'clock on your Tuesday night, leaving us with a drier pattern for our Wednesday. But those dry conditions, they do come at a cost, unfortunately, because look at the winds. They were southerly ahead of the system, now northerly on the backside, and that's allowing that continental air, which is drier and colder, move back into the forecast. But luckily, not extreme cold in this forecast. We are just going to be seeing a brief step back before a major comeback moving into the weekend. So low temperatures on your Wednesday, yes, they are going to drop below freezing, but again, this is not nearly as low as what it was this weekend, but we're still 29 Oxford, Tunica, and Holly Springs, 32 Tupelo and Houston, and then 35 Macon, 37 around Aliceville. As we look at futurecasts throughout your Wednesday, you can see these northerly winds do remain in the forecast and a little bit of clearing as the day goes on. So we will be enjoying the benefits of drier air. but also the negatives whenever we talk about those colder temperatures. Those continue to build in as that clearing does take place by noon. And look at these breezy conditions there from the north. That's really building in that colder air, and that's why we're seeing that step back for those colder temperatures. Yes, even colder than Wednesday morning as we get into our Thursday morning. So just a brief couple of days that we're going to be below freezing, but luckily not nearly as bad as this weekend and not going to be nearly as impactful. So that's a positive we'll take because it's not exactly the best news, because we want it to be warmer. We want it to be seasonable, and we will get that way closer to the weekend. So your Thursday morning, you can see those dry conditions, those partly clear conditions, and of course those northerly winds all working together to get that cold forecast back in place. But these high temperatures will remain above freezing, so that means anything that does happen overnight, any frost that could potentially form, not exactly going to linger in the forecast. We're 42 in Tupelo, 46 Starkville, 43 Greenwood, and 42 Clarksdale and Tunica. That's on your Wednesday afternoon, so that cold start makes for a milder afternoon. There's where we see this more significant drop Thursday morning, 22 degrees heading out the door. So unfortunately, it will see a pretty decent drop, but again, not as bad as this weekend, and it doesn't stick around for long as we're 44 by the afternoon, 29 Friday, and 58 by the afternoon. Then we get into the weekend where we're sitting above freezing. Yeah, this past weekend we were talking about amount of time below freezing. The exact opposite into next weekend with 32 degrees as the low Saturday, 33 the low Sunday, and 36 the low on Monday. So folks, we're getting better and better. The recovery efforts do continue, us working together here in Mississippi, being the Mississippi family, unlike any other, has allowed us to survive the storm, and we're enjoying the positives of this forecast heading into this week, although there was one non-Mississippian that was trying to rain on our parade, and that is, of course, Phil the Groundhog. And he had some words to say in regards to that extended forecast, but we have the actual factual information coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. So keep it here for the very latest, and we will discuss what he had to say and why that is just not true coming up in the next 60.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Well, welcome back here to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We're talking about Groundhog Day and, of course, what that means for our forecast. Absolutely nothing. But still, it's cool to hear what he has to say while also talking about the facts here in North Mississippi. So today, what are the latest? Well, Punxsutawney Phil, I'm guessing that's how it's said, and forgive me if I just absolutely butchered that. But nonetheless, Phil saw his shadow. And what that means is that he's forecasting 6 more weeks of winter. And for us in North Mississippi, we see that forecast and it just makes us angry because that's the last thing we need. We don't need any more winter. Mother Nature has left her mark and we don't want that. We want spring as soon as possible. But look at that accuracy rate. Yes, Phil is right 35% of the time, meaning that his forecast that he doesn't expect usually pans out. So that's good news for us here in North Mississippi because that means we have a 65% chance that spring is going to be early. And that's also stats that really don't even matter. Let's go ahead and look at the facts. And that temperature outlook for February 8th through February 12th, this is heading into next week. We're trending above average, and that's above our 30-year average, not above the average that we set last week. No, our standard is climbing, and we're even going above and beyond that. So February 8th up to February 12th, looking good to go. And as we head more into Valentine's Day, don't have to worry about bringing 3 or 4 layers on date night. We're looking good to go, may even be able to get some shorts, dare I say. No, that might be a stretch, but nonetheless, we're above our average for this time of year. As we look at that extended forecast, though, in that next 30 days, we do see a bit of a step back, but one of the big differences with this forecast is whenever we were talking about below average a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, it's not even on the map, but we were talking about these deeper blues that were moving into the forecast. We're talking, in regards to the scale, we were as far left on the scale as we could possibly go. we're only slightly below that average for this time of year. So things are looking better. And as we look at the next 90 days, things definitely look better. We're trending much warmer heading into that spring season. So this is great news for our forecast. And that's what we need here in North Mississippi. So Phil, we don't claim you. Go ahead and get out of here. But as we look at that forecast here on Mississippi Live Weather, the data speaks for itself. And that shows that spring might be here a little bit early in regards to some of those warmer temperatures. But Matt, I know folks in Tippah County, they're rooting for an early spring more than anybody, as impacts are still in place from last week's winter storm. Recovery efforts continue, but this forecast definitely giving them some favors. What do you have for us in Ripley?
And again, one more time, we're here at the Red Cross shelter at the Family Life Center of First Baptist Church up here. And it just, encouraging folks that if they do have a need for food, a need for shelter, a need for water, that this is one of the places that they can get that here. The women that have been operating this shelter, of course, are taking good care of folks and are here to help, and will continue to be here over the course of the next couple of days. So a reminder where this at, First Baptist Church, as you can see across the street there, with the Family Life Center, which is kind of the gymnasium, the building that goes right next to it. So it's something that if you need it, please take advantage of it. Luckily, those temperatures, as you kind of alluded to, do get warmer for the next few days, but we do also have at least one more day below freezing going forward. So, that the necessity is there. Go ahead and take advantage of that. But things improving here in Tippah County. We're trying to figure out tomorrow where we're going to end up going. I think we'll probably end up in either Tishmingo or Alcorn County tomorrow to check on recovery efforts back up there. From Ripley, though, this evening, where, again, the recovery is well underway, but a lot of folks still trying to get that power back. And we appreciate all of the linemen and women and all the folks that are working to try to help folks out up here in Tippah County. But for now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon from Mississippi Live Weather. Gabe will send it back to you in the studio. And again, thankful that the forecast is getting a little bit warmer for the next few days. And you referenced, by the way, the sort of shift over here to spring. I think one of the things looking forward through a good chunk of this month is that it's a lot more rain than anything else. And unfortunately, we could kings over maybe some thunderstorm chances, I think, from time to time as well. That's I think, maybe prevailing pattern as we've used up a lot of that cold air that the Arctic had to give us.
Exactly, Matt. So every forecast, unfortunately, comes at a cost. We have drier air by midweek and unfortunately going to have cold temperatures. Once things warm up, then we'll get thunderstorms in the forecast. So yes, everything coming at a cost, but I think that a large portion of North Mississippi is just grateful that we're getting some warmer air. And of course, the next 3 months, whenever we see this warm outlook, definitely makes us feel a little bit warm on the inside as well. But like you alluded to, some of those chances of some of the forecast going forward, talking about potentially Valentine's Day. We are seeing a stormy setup around that time frame. We're, of course, tracking that here in the Room to Room Weather Center, and we'll provide details as this week continues on. But as we take a look at this forecast ahead, of course, we'll be tracking every bit of it on the Mississippi Live Weather app, both available on iOS and Android. So make sure to download that today, and it'll let you know what's happening now, what's happening in the future, and tell you why Phil is wrong, thankfully. Our next broadcast is going to be at 10 o'clock tonight. Can't wait to see you guys there. And of course, don't miss out on our broadcast at 6:37 and 7:30 with our meteorologist Maggie McCauley. Now, for folks that are still in the chat, I want to come back in here real quick because one of the things that Matt was talking about was where to head to next. I saw some folks in Corinth were asking. I saw some folks in Tishomingo County asking. We're going to put out a poll, I believe, tomorrow that'll let you guys know where we're headed and try to give you guys updates from live here from Mississippi Live Weather on what's happening in those respective counties that are still seeing impacts to this day. So that's one of the things to look forward to. We also have our nominations list live, and that is going to be nominations for our Mississippi Live Weather Game of the Week. We have a few good matchups heading into Friday. Excited about those, but if you have a matchup you want us to go to, let us know down in the comments, and that is on Matt Lawpon. Of course, that's his name on Facebook. But that's on Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon's Facebook page, so make sure to check that out. Let us know where you want us to go, and we will have those highlights, the fan section, the student section, the Spirit Squad, everything coming here from Mississippi Live Weather. Yeah, we're weather, but we like to dabble a little bit in sports as well. Again, so let us know in the comments. Just go to his Facebook page, and all of that will be posted there. Give it a follow, subscribe, like, all the stuff, and we appreciate all of your support here on Mississippi Live Weather. You guys take it easy and have a fantastic, or should I say a magnificent Monday. And we'll talk latest on those rain chances coming up here at 10 o'clock tonight. We'll see you there.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious when he began to discover weather. Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.